So, Victor, you managed to make VN, Republic of Vietnam. What were you doing over there?
Well, I was originally fixing radios, but I got very bored with that very quickly, and I put in to get into civil affairs. And when I got into civil affairs, I was teaching English in 3 different villages. And I would go every day and have a Vietnamese class in English. And I had 3 different classes. I had the beginners, the intermediate, and the advanced. The beginners were doing with a Dick and Jane book.
Oh, yeah, that's the one I learned on.
Yes, and then the intermediates were doing Johnny Tremaine.
Johnny Tremaine, I remember
And the
that.
advanced was, of course, very communistic, I guess. Ernest Hemingway, For Whom the Bell Tolls.
Oh, it tolls for thee.
Yeah. So I had students anywhere from the ages of around, I'd say, 8 or 9 to around 80.
Wow.
And I remember the first day I was in the classroom, I told the class, and I'm sure the Army CID was there. Also.
Criminal Investigation Division.
Yes, and I'm sure the South Vietnamese intelligence was there for their army and whoever was involved in that fracas. And I explained to the classroom that I'm sorry I'm here, that I didn't want to be in Vietnam, that if I refused to go to Vietnam, they would throw me back in jail. So I made a deal with the court, and here I am. And upon finishing that first class that day, the village chieftain invited me into his house, his hut, and he took out a glass and he poured me some rice wine, which is very strong. And he poured a glass of rice wine with me, and he clicked my glass and he says, "Ho Chi Minh #1." And by then I was quite paranoid by all the power struggles I was through. And I clicked his glass and I says, "No, Ho Chi Minh #10, but LBJ #10 too." I says, "They drink champagne in Paris." I says, "and we shoot each other." And then I drank the wine.
Hey, you got a point there, buddy.
He laughed and he drank.
Good thinking.
I know, I was wise to it.
Oh, yeah. Jesus.
And I had quite a few incidences like that. And as the year went on, I realized that the Army was spying on me quite a bit. I had several incidences.
Wow, yeah, you're fraternizing with the enemy there, for cripe's sakes. You think they don't know this? Teaching them English out of Lewisburg Federal Pen? Troublemaker written all over you.
Well, I think I have a lot of the people that I probably taught English to in this country today make an American buck.
Hey, you're right.
I never
Probably
realized
up in
that.
Lowell.
That was worse than I
Or
thought.
Dorchester.
Well, we call Fields Corner, where I used to walk to every day as a child. We call it Little Saigon now, as old Dorchester writes.
Yeah. Yeah. What?
Yeah, the extent of the spying on me was quite extensive. I met this girl, when I was first in Vietnam, every day I would go to the library. And I would read because I didn't want to just get drunk like all the other soldiers.
Yeah, it was a popular pastime.
Yeah. So this very attractive woman would talk to me, and one day she says, "Here, I want you to take this to the village." It was a .45 weapon, because I would go to the village with no weapon because I didn't want to look like I was being hostile. So, but I did take it, and I was glad she gave it to me, and I wore it underneath my fatigues that had no stripes on them.
Yeah, right. Why
I was
bother
still
with
one,
that?
yeah. Well,
He
I
must
had
be
nothing.
very important. He has no rank.
I know. So I would always wear that .45 underneath my fatigues when I went to the village. So eventually she says, "I'm leaving." She was at Long Binh. She says, "I'm going to Saigon, and I'll give you my address. Come down and visit me." I says, "I will." She was very attractive, and I was attracted to her. And
These things happen, Victor.
yeah. And so one day, when the next time, I had the ability to get off the base anytime I wanted because I had what they call a civil service pass. I could just show it to the guard and go off and go out into the countryside, which I did quite liberally. I was stupid. So what I did was I went down to visit her, and I got down to this address, and there's these big, huge, beautiful buildings, and I walked through the front door, air conditioned and all, and at everything, these doors would open automatically, and there'd be a soldier there, and spick and span, and he'd salute me. He'd said, and I'd say, well, which way? And they said, straight ahead, sir. And so I walked down the end. I walked up a flight of stairs. I got to the flight of stairs. I looked to the right, and there was General Westmoreland.
Oh, yeah, old Westy.
Yeah, I couldn't believe my eyes. So, and then I heard this voice. I looked to the left, and there was Spec 5 Smith. That was her name. She was a girl from Minnesota, Schmidt.